Grasshoppers. Welcome to the Bot Signal. My name is RJ Redden. Entrepreneurs hire me to burn down marketing practices that no longer work for them because most are having a heck of a time getting traction online. So I create messages that help people build relationships and close deals. So I do all that through Facebook Messenger. And today we're going to talk about Facebook Messenger, as you know. But before we do that, I'm going to ask everybody to look up at the post. If you are not watching from the Black Belt Bots page, please click that link because then that will bring you to a place where I can see and answer all of your questions. Very important to me, darlings. So, without further ado, let's get going here. Today, we're going to talk about something very important, and that is we're going to talk about some changes that ManyChat has made, some improvements, actually. Sometimes, folks make changes and they're not necessarily improvements, but these are some really great improvements that they have been building on for a period of time here. They released all of these at a conference that they had a couple of weeks ago, and all of that jazz. So I picked out a fair few that I think that are going to be cool and important. There are some of these that aren't necessarily going to make a difference to you unless you're in a very kind of niche target. But for now, let us chat about these things. So, first up, and I think that the most exciting thing for all of us is this, that ManyChat has introduced something that they call a randomizer. Now, you're all familiar with what I keep talking about a lot, which is that choose your own adventure path. People come into the bot, they get welcomed, they get some housekeeping items done, and then usually they're given some choices of some different things that they could do. Now, we're all familiar with that choose your own adventure path. That's pretty good stuff. It allows people to start adventuring through your stuff immediately. But the randomizer adds just a little bit more to that. What the randomizer does is it says that it's basically going to pick one of 4 paths, one of 7 paths, one of 30 paths. It's going to choose a path for the user in the bot there. Now, why would you ever do that? Why do you need this? Why is this interesting? Is it even cool to do that? A randomizer would be a super cool option. We'll just go through something really basic. Say that you have a restaurant website, and you have a page, Facebook page for your restaurant. You want to reward the people that are coming to your bot with a coupon of some kind. You can make it so that that the choices in your path for this, basically, if you think about it like rolling the wheel of fortune, right? Giving that thing a spin, and then you end up on a square. Some of those little triangle pie things are very, very valuable, and some of them are, somewhat valuable. Just like scratch off games in lotteries and things like that. Most of the things they give out are, they kind of have something to them. Some of the things really have something to them. So what you can do at the very beginning of your bot, if you're this restaurant and you have these, if you have these things to give out, you can say, hey, take a spin on our little wheel here, and you can get up to 50% off on your first visit to us. And then people click the button. ManyChat chooses one of those random paths that all of them contain a coupon of some kind. And then folks, win what they win, and they're able to whatever path will kind of generate a little image for you that says 10% off your next visit or 50% off for the people that win that, and then they're able to show it the next time they come to your restaurant. That's a real basic example about how randomization kind of adds to the flavor and the experience of your bot. Hey, Rebecca, it's good to see you. Very good. So, randomization, there's a bunch of things that you can do with this actually. So, I just talked about a restaurant example and giving out a coupon through randomization. That's great stuff. You can also run contests that way. You can also any kind of a retail store with a physical location can give a discount, not just restaurants, right? Shoe stores, no matter what you sell, if you're giving away discounts to get people into the door, the randomization feature is awesome for you. But there is a whole different level here, because I began thinking about how would I use this in my own bot? How would I help people with this? If you are educating people about your products or services, you can use a randomizer to deliver a tip for the day, something like that. So I teach people about bots. I often make little 2-3 minute video explainer videos about certain techniques. Sometimes it's certain techniques, sometimes it's just, hey, here's a best practice that I think that you all need to know about. I could then create a broadcast that says, hey, click the button to get our random, spinny wheel going, and it will pick for you a best practice of the day. They click the button, they get connected to whichever random best practice that is. And then I get to have that little 2-3 minute video there. Remember, video goes into Messenger bots really well. And then I get to ask the person a couple questions about it. What did you get from that? What stage are you at right now? I can start a conversation with that type of stuff. Why is this important? Couldn't you just, send out a broadcast that's linear that has message 1, message 2, message 3? Why add this randomization option? Because it's exciting, people. Because adding an element of gamification to your bot is excellent. If you go to the App Store or the Google Play Store or whatever phone service you're on, if you go to their App Store right now and you look at the front page, what's the number one thing you're going to see? You're going to see games. You're going to see games by super popular companies. You're going to see staff picks of the games that they're playing. You're going to see best picks from indie companies that are just starting out. You're going to see game after game after game after game. Where are people playing these games? On their phones. And if you add an element of gamification, if you add an element of surprise and mystery to your bot, then you make it automatically a more interesting place to be. That's exactly what you want. I tell you. Teresa's got a comment here. I'm going to have to use this. I want to make tips and tools for the day as part of my bot. Oh, I know you do. And using the randomizer is pretty. It's not that hard of a process. I've been playing with it, and it's pretty simple to use. For me, I mean, for people in education, I think it's absolutely amazing. So back to the gamification, back to the why is this interesting for people? Why do people love this so much? It is easier to get people interested. If surprises are happening in your bot, then that's a wonderful place to be. So here's what's happening in the bot world right now. There's a new bot company like every day. Hey, Kim. Good to see you. There's a new bot company every day. I got on another one this morning, and they're all, a lot of them anyway. Certainly the one I got on this morning, Inboxer, this one is. They're all very, very heavily hitting the element of, 90% open rate type of stuff, and they're all, doing a lot of them are doing these really heavy sales tactics. This one this morning was a real heavy sale, hit you over the head sales tactics and all of that kind of stuff. And they'll say in the advertising, bots are about connection and conversation and all this kind of stuff. But then when they're selling it to you, they'll use all of those tactics, you got to buy it now or this deal will disappear forever. It's only going to be this way for another hour. All of the things that people do when they're trying to get us to not think about the consequences and to buy stuff, right? That tells me something. If their sales method is all about, oh my God, you got to get this now, and they actually, the one that I was reviewing this morning actually mentioned on their website, you can set it and forget it. Oh, you know how I hate this. But my point with all of this is there's a new company like that cropping up every single day. And they are all training people that bots are a set it and forget it, and that you can blast messages out to many, many people, read them. That 90% rate is not going to stay there. I promise you this. As more companies get involved, as more people lure others into chatbots as a way to blast to people and blast to people and blast to people and set it and forget it, that 90% rate is going to go down a bit over time, okay? But if your bot is conversational, if your bot is interesting, if your bot serves messages that are valuable to that user for a specific reason, then you are not going to have to worry about that open rate coming down, because people will be glad to see your little icon in their messenger inbox. And that's what I'm about. I'm teaching you tactics that you can use so that your bot is going to remain relevant long after the rising tide of set it and forget it rises and crashes. Long after that, you will still be attracting people to your bot. And one of the ways that you can do it is this gamification, is this way that you can say to people, hey, there's a chance, this could happen. You want to push the button. That kind of stuff is kind of fun for people. I know that, and many of you know people that are like this too. People will, open their phone or whatever and be having conversations and doing things. And it's a wonderful thing. But a lot of times people are they're just in those games, right? My wife is an example. She loves this bubble popping game. I forget what it's called. I know the music by heart, but I forget what it's called. People love those sort of gamification elements, like leveling up after you've done something special, like a random chance at a gift or a different path to go down, or something that they can explore and discover for themselves. So that is where that is going. Lindsay Badger says, hello there. And I say hello back. Hello, my friend. It's good to see you. So very good. So think about this. If you want to discuss this, you can give me a call. You can do that. You can schedule me right from within my bot. Hey, if you're not there yet, type live in the comments. You'll get a reminder every single time I go online. And you can ask me questions in there. You can ask me questions. You can schedule and ask me anything, phone call. And we could talk about how would we use randomizer for your bot? Is there a game? Is there a very, very simple game? We're not reinventing the game system here. We're writing bots, baby. But we can introduce elements here and there that will make your bot an interesting place to go and a place where curious people can go. So enough said on that. So people are creating right now coin flip games and different things like that. And again, if you've got a product that you sell, or if you want to drive people to a brick and mortar location, giving discounts to people, different sized discounts, is an awesome thing that you can do too. So very good. Now, a couple of other things that ManyChat has been doing. For a long time now, you have been able to integrate something called Zapier into ManyChat. which allows you to take information from ManyChat and zap it out to a spreadsheet, to an email program, to many, many different things. That I remember when we got that was like, woo, I mean, we were all so very excited about that. And it was amazing. But now they're kind of taking this a little bit step further even. They now have several things that integrate directly to ManyChat. So if you're currently shooting out first name, last name, email address to a Google spreadsheet through Zapier, you can now skip Zapier. You can just skip it because it will integrate directly now. Using MailChimp, I know many of you are, and MailChimp is a fine program, also directly integrated now. So this is kind of nice because Zapier, although very, I've recommended it a lot of times, it can be a little bit technologically challenging, even for me. And sometimes, things break and, anytime you have a system with a lot of moving parts, you have an opportunity for something to break down in transit. Anytime you can get rid of moving parts, you're going to have a better running machine, so to speak. So it will now integrate directly into Google Spreadsheets, like I said, MailChimp, ConvertKit, if you're on ConvertKit. It'll integrate with a HubSpot CRM if you've got one of those. And I think that there's also one that I'm missing here that I'm not quite remembering. But these integrations, I see this as a really great thing for all of us because skipping the middleman is always pretty much a good idea. Those direct integrations are excellent. So if you were trying to set up something on Zapier with ManyChat, go ahead and go into your settings, check the integrations tab, see if what you're trying to integrate with is already there so that you can save the pain in the tush, and it is, of setting it up on Zapier. So very good. Active Campaign by chance? Not yet, darling. Not yet. I looked for you, but no, not active. I can't believe they have ConvertKit, but they don't have Active Campaign. Anyway, very good. So another thing that they have integrated is something called Integromat. Now, this is about to get geeky. So, just hold on to your coffee for me. Integromat is much like Zapier, except it appears, and I've just been dinking around with Integromat. I have not set anything up by any means, but it appears to be a very powerful program that is just like Zapier, right? Except it has more features that you can integrate, and it appears to be a little more user-friendly, which is very nice for those of us who use Zapier. And, by no means do I mean to down that program. I've recommended it a bunch of times. But it is, this Integromat is kind of a new up-and-comer, and they've integrated with ManyChat as well. So if you are a person who enjoys exploring technological programs, me, go check out Integromat and see if it has more options for you, or is a little bit more user friendly than Zapier. And then tell me about your experience, because I want to know. I've been investigating too, so we'll see what happens there. Rebecca, losing signal, great show though. Hey, thank you so much. Catch me on the replay. I'm always here. David Burrows says great information. Thanks for sharing. Oh yeah. This is some nice stuff, David Burrows. David, if you don't know David, happy Thanksgiving, David. He's from Canada. And I've been thinking about this, and I think Stephen Healy's on here too. I've been thinking about this randomizer as a way to kind of spice up a show bot, spice up a reminder bot, where you can kind of get random prizes during a show, right? If somebody is, if a person that you're interviewing is doing a contest or a giveaway, or if you yourself are doing one, you can run that directly in ManyChat while you're producing your show. And that also kind of adds interest and curiosity, not just to the messenger bot that you're running, but to the show that you're currently producing. And I know that that's great stuff for all of us who produce shows. Anyway, very good. I don't mean to get off on that track. Okay, so we were talking about integrations, which I think that's huge. And it may not seem like much, but sometimes just skipping one step in the process will you get to skip that much headache too, and you get to do it forever. So who doesn't love that? Okay. So there are some other things too that are interesting that I'd probably put them on the lower tier of hugely important to integrate right now into whatever you're doing. Some of these features that they released here are a little bit more for agencies, for lots of people working on a bot. For instance, you can now, if more than one person is working on one at one time, you can leave little sticky notes inside the flow builder. You can leave little sticky notes for people if you're building a bot with someone, if you need an edit here, if you have a question right here, something like that. It's so much more easy to refer to a question or a comment in the context, on the canvas that you're building on, because trying to explain to somebody, when they go down the flow and then they pick this choice and then they pick that choice and then they have these three choices. Yeah, I got a question about that. Oh my God. Trying to find something like that's a little bit problematic. So now you can do comments and things like that to other people that you're building with, or if you're collaborate building bots, which is what I do, I can leave notes back and forth with my clients too. So that's a really nice feature to have. But not super applicable to absolutely everybody. Okay, very good. Here is one I think will be helpful to those of you who have shows, and that is that you can now broadcast from something called a flow. So let me explain what I'm talking about here. On a normal show, and many of you have set up reminder bots just like I have. Every time you go to live stream, you set up a broadcast for people to go and, to get into people's inbox to remind them to come see a show. Okay, fantastic. What I've been doing this entire time is I will go down to past broadcasts. I will copy one up from drafts, and then I will, I'll basically retool that a little bit, change the links, and then send that out as a broadcast. So what they're saying now is that you can make up what's called a flow, which is a reusable bot sequence. And you can either create a new broadcast every time, which some people do, that's totally fine, or you can use that flow as a template for a new broadcast. So you can make up a certain type of broadcast. We'll say show reminders in this case, because I know a lot of you have shows. You can kind of make up the skeleton for that, and then be able to broadcast from that, tweak the details every time. Instead of having to go find a past one, you can basically create a little cookie cutter experience, if you will, that you can start working on that, add some details, add a link, and then move on. So that's kind of nice. You could do it for show reminders, but you can do that for just about anything. So those of you who, when we start, we're usually looking at kind of a show reminder bot, or we're looking for some simple ways to get more subscribers. And then we think about building okay, what's a sequence? What's a sequence of messages that I can deliver to people once a day or once every couple of days for the first couple of weeks, introducing them to me and what I'm doing and my products and services and things like that. That's really great stuff to develop. And then kind of after that first, couple of months of doing that and then seeing how that works and tweaking that, then it's really about reaching back into that pile of subscribers and re-engaging them and teaching them something new or bringing them something new. And that's really where those broadcasts come into play. It's nice that they're working on that part of it, because as you know, it will bring you a lot of return on investment to reach into that pile of subscribers and see whom you can engage. People are, if they're still subscribed, they're still interested. They're interested in what you have to say, and that is a much warmer market for me. Market. Oh, I hate that. I'm not. Please rewind. I didn't say that. It's a much warmer place for me to reach into than, say, an email list. Teresa says, I could have used sticky notes the other day. LOL. Sticky notes are great, aren't they? Okay, very good. So they've been working on the broadcast system just a little bit, so that they can offer these. You can create these little cookie cutters for yourself and reuse them for show broadcasts. You can use them to broadcast the first day of a class. I did that yesterday. I've been creating a new mini course that's going to go at the beginning of my bot, and I have a little group that I'm kind of testing this stuff on, and I tested it out yesterday. It works like a charm to be able to use a flow to broadcast from. So that one's going to be nice for folks that have kind of reached that stage of, okay, now I've got people in here. What are we going to do together? What kind of journey can I take them on? So other things that are really kind of cool. There is one here that this has to do with the gamification again. It is on your chatbot. You have the opportunity, if you have a pro account, you have the opportunity to ask people open-ended questions. And in fact, you can ask people any types of questions, and the answers that they give to questions can all be stored in something called a custom field. Fantastic. So you can now, and this, I have not done this one personally, so still checking this out, but it just sounds tremendous, is that you can now take somebody, say they were playing a game in your bot and they got a high score, or they leveled up, or they did something to gain a certain level. You can take the high score from today and compare it to the high score from a month ago or 2 months ago or something like that. So you can take the custom fields were all basically one way. You could put any information you wanted into a custom field, an email address, an answer, an open-ended answer to a question. You could take images and put them, you could put all of these types of things into custom fields, but they kind of really only existed right there. Now you can take these custom fields and start comparing the answers to each other within that conversation. And so that presents a number of opportunities as well. Okay, I'm going to try to stay away from the geek end for a second because I just get all excited. But other things that you can do, there's one in there that I'm not sure that I like it for bots, but I think that it could be useful sometimes. Do you know when sometimes you will ask people questions in a bot and you'll give them 2 or 3 answers that are buttons that they can click? Now you can, and then somebody will, instead of clicking those choices that you've offered them, they'll type something instead. You can disable people's ability to do that if you want. Now, this is not sequence specific. This is not for just the broadcast message that you sent out yesterday or that you plan to send tomorrow. This is bot wide. we're disabling any sort of typed keyboard input. I'm not going to recommend that right now, but when they refine that a little bit and make it so that you can say, okay, this daily message right here, I don't want anybody to be able to do typed input on this one. I think it's a great safety measure because I've had that happen to me plenty of times. I'll ask a question and then people would ignore the answers that I give them and just type something. I think it'll be great when we can selectively apply that. But right now, I would never, ever just take a whole bot and go, yeah, they can only click buttons now. Because then you don't have any ability to do things like open-ended questions, or, you don't have any ability to handle when people, want to type something in. So I'm not going to recommend it right now, right this moment, but that's a little baby that I'll be watching. I'll be watching for when we can selectively apply that. Okay. There is also some cool stuff coming with Facebook ads in integration with this. Right now, we have the ability in ManyChat to connect the bot to an ad that we're running. So for instance, if I'm running an ad about a bot class that I'm going to be giving, I can have it so that when people click on the ad, their messenger pops up with a little message saying, hey, here's your free guide to 87 ways to world domination or whatever. Here's your freebie that I promised you in the ad. Would you like to know a little bit more about the class that I'm running or whatever? This is something that we're able to do right now. This is something that I think that they came out with. I think it was like about a year ago that they came out with this, and it works pretty slick when that is working for you. But there's really not a whole lot of facts and figures and analytics on where people are dropping off. There's no real function so far, up until now. There's been no real function telling us what is happening when people are dropping off or where they're dropping off. There's just been that one-way integration of touch an ad, your bot will come up. Now they're adding integrations into that, and it's going to be communicating back and forth with Facebook ads and giving you return on investment numbers and all kinds of analytics. So if you're a geek about wanting to read a spreadsheet about that kind of stuff, I'm not, but if you are, we'll be able to see some stuff in Facebook ads, possibly. I don't know whether it's going to be in Facebook Ad Manager or if it's just going to be in ManyChat. Probably just in ManyChat, but who knows? That one is in private beta right now, which means they've released it to a few people that are extensively testing it. And when they say release, then it'll be time for the rest of us to try it. So Facebook ads is not, it's something that I have run to my own bot before. It wasn't the most awesome experience, partly because I really couldn't tell what was happening very well. So maybe these analytics will draw more people to integrating Messenger with Facebook ads, which would be pretty exciting for me. So very good. If any of you have questions about these things, or how would you use this in a particular bot that you have, write your questions in the comments. And again, if you are watching from Black Belt Bots page, I can see everything you're typing and I can answer those questions. If you are not, just go to the link in the top of the post, click there, and you'll be able to ask me questions right as I live stream. So a couple of things that are okay and just sort of convenient, but not really like hugely newsworthy. There is now a tag manager that you can use. Sometimes this is nice when you're planning stuff out, to be able to create and delete and manage tags inside a bot. I know that a lot of times I will create something for a client inside one of my chatbot accounts, and then I'll transfer it over, and then I've got a bunch of tags that I'll never use again. So sometimes the tag manager, that's nice, but it's nothing to write home about, really, I don't think. Also, you can save a particular date and time to a field. So, say you've got a little bot run and you're asking people for a piece of information, or you're asking them to click a button and get connected over on your website, or you're registering people for a webinar. Now you can save the date and time that that button was clicked for further use and information. So how would you use that in a bot that, one of us might build? That would be really helpful for me to know what date and time somebody clicked something, and then be able to serve them a message 3 days later. So say, I don't know, I'm having a sale on one of my courses or template packages or whatever, and I put a message out to the people that are interested in that inside my chatbot. Hey, I've got a sale on this coaching template package, and I would love to. I would love to. Are you interested in hearing more about that? Something like that. And then if somebody clicks that button, the date and time is saved on that. And then I can set a message out to go 3 days later, that, hey, are you still interested in that? Do you have any questions that I can help you answer? It's not quite abandoned cart. It's not quite that, but it's sort of getting there. If ManyChat ever gets abandoned cart, then I think some crazy things could happen. I think that's a wonderful feature. So this is not quite that, but it is nice. It is nice to have. And there are certain situations in which it's helpful to know exactly when somebody clicked something, so that you can use that information to maybe kind of roll back and ask them a question or something of that nature. So that's kind of nice. Teresa says, oh, that's what I was looking for. I could use that to get people to sign up for my event. Absolutely. So, and for me, I use the bot as an event sign up. I love doing that because, previously, to get people to sign up for a webinar, okay, now, you have to send people 5 places and collect the email here and now go sign into this and all of these things. Fantastic. Or, hey, give me your email address and Spinning Dragon will go sign you up for that webinar. We'll just send you a reminder when it's time. Cool with you? It's so much easier to keep people in one place than it is to send them all over the internet, because every time you do that, there's a certainty that a number of people will drop off. So I'm finding that type of thing where they're adding tools to the process of getting people signed up to a workshop or getting people signed up to a certain event, and then being able to send reminders to those people. That I really think they're going in a really great direction with that. So could not be happier there. A couple other things. There are now, and they kind of made a big deal about this, bigger images in gallery cards. They'll make them up to 90% bigger. When you're using this ability, choose wisely, my friends, because what you might run into is what I ran into with my very first bot, which was this. I had a lot of square images in there from Bitmoji, which I continue to use. I just use it a little bit differently. I ended up turning them all to rectangular images, because when they were square, we'd run into trouble with the message, because you've got the image that comes in, and then you've got, a text box below that and a delay in a text box below that. Well, sometimes that pushes the picture. If the picture is tall enough, it pushes the picture up so far that people then have to scroll back to see the image. That's not a great user experience. You don't want to do that. So if you are tempted to use that feature, use it, but use your preview. Preview that bad boy so that you know that people aren't. Preview it and keep in mind that maybe not everybody has your size of phone. I have the iPhone 6 Plus. I have the hey, watch a movie in bed phone, and not everybody has a huge phone like that. So if you're going to use the bigger size gallery images, do it, but preview it and make sure that you remember that not everybody has your size of phone. Teresa says, see, now I'm going to turn my bot down and start over. LOL. Oh, shoot. That's no good. Hopefully that is not a complete teardown to zero, because that will be very frustrating for you. Okay. Another kind of nice thing, they're no longer showing deleted subscribers in the audience size. That's kind of nice. Whoever you are and whatever message you're trying to get out there, you're going to get unsubscribers. That is, unsubscribers, I think, are an awesome thing, because that is one less person that you need to focus your energy on. So I never mind an unsubscribe, but it was kind of difficult at one point, especially when I was running the Facebook ads, because when you run Facebook ads directly to a bot, they have to double opt into your bot, and a lot of people would just stop when the message opened. So I had a lot of people that were like, unknown in my bot, and that was really, you never know what number to count and all of that kind of stuff. So they've now they're cleaning out the number that you see and making sure that every one of those is actually a subscriber, not people who have deleted the conversation or done another one of those odd things. So that's kind of nice, because then you'll be able to really gauge who you've got in there and what kind of audience you have. Okay, did all of that happen? Let me see here. Disable keyboards, Google Sheets. Yeah, that's all of them, which really good stuff. They had been releasing a lot of changes, pretty quick, pretty right on top of each other, and then they stopped for a while, and then they had their conference, and it was like, booyah, here we go. Here are all the new things that you can do. So yeah, those are the changes that have happened. To see some of these changes in the interface, they're not really like called out like this is a new feature. So you'll have to kind of look for these guys, but a lot of it is available. If you look under your settings, you can kind of look at some of the different things that you can set for the entire bot in there. Some of these are directly in there. I know. And then also, if you look in settings, integrations, you'll be able to see the 5 things that they have integrated directly to ManyChat right now. The MailChimp and ConvertKit and Google Sheets and a couple of others as well. So if you look under settings, you'll see some of these. The randomizer, that's just right when you're creating a flow, you can use that one. So out of all the changes, I'm thinking that to me, the randomizer is presenting the greatest package of possibilities for a different kind of experience in a bot. I've told this story many times, but when I was first building, I just kind of thought, well, I was so amazed with what I was seeing that it was just like, oh yeah, and then I'm going to take people here and I'm going to take people here and it's going to be great. And now the things that, because there's starting to be a lot more bots out there, word has made it out that this thing is happening. And so I am always after what's the new adventure going to be? What kind of an experience that can I create that people will really enjoy and want to come back to? My whole goal with making these chatbots, building them for myself and for my clients, the whole goal is to make it so that people smile when they see your page icon in their messenger? When's the last time you smiled when you open your email inbox? It was a long time ago, wasn't it? Let's just be honest. And I feel it too, you know. And I also feel pressure from other marketers who are like, "Hey, you got to email." I don't know. But to me, I want to make people smile every time they see, you know, my page icon is spinning dragon. So I want to make people smile when they see my stuff. I want to make people wonder what she has to say. That stuff is going to keep you on the top of people's minds, and that stuff is going to establish you as someone that people want to be with. Um, Hi, Corinder. Yes, I'm pretty aware that Molly does lots of live streams with bots. This is this is a different show. So very good. Does anybody have any questions about the features that were there? Throw them down in the comments for me. I would love to see them. Meanwhile, I had scheduled a show for Thursday, and so rarely do I actually schedule my shows out a week ahead of time, but this week I got the opportunity to do that. But I am, instead of that show, I'm going to be pushing the show that I had scheduled, which is all about learning how to work with, learning new technology and some tips that you can use while you're learning new technology that will make it, not quite so difficult, because I know new tech can be odd. I'm going to push that show, and instead I'm going to have a friend of mine on Thursday. He is with Success Road Academy, and he and the folks at his company are really successful at building online courses on a program called Thinkific. They are putting on something on Saturday, and I'm going to be giving out a few announcements about this week, because I think this is awesome. They're going to be doing a 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. workshop, a live training. It's free, and it's all about how to get a course out there in one day. And I'm fascinated by this. Full disclosure, I totally have bought and I'm working on a course about bots, kind of an advanced course. I'm working on that with them right now. And then this opportunity came out, and I asked how much it was, and they're like, well, it's free. And so I'm gonna have him on to talk about that. It's like a 1-day course creation thing. If you've ever thought about doing that, if you've ever thought about, or if you've done it and it hasn't been so successful always, that's the camp that I belong in. This is going to be a really good workshop for learning best practices, so that you don't have to, the next time you go to create a course, you don't have to reinvent it, from scratch. You have some best practices to go on, a little bit about what works and what doesn't. Again, totally free. And so I'm going to send out a link. I'm going to send out a link in the comments so that you guys can get there and sign up for it if you want. I'll be there. I'll be there on Saturday. And it's totally something you can attend from the comfort of your own pajama pants, because that's what I'm going to be wearing too. And it's going to be great stuff. So I'm going to have somebody talking about that. My friend Brady Patterson is going to come talk about that on Thursday for us all. So if you're interested in course creation, which, I know many of you are, all of us want to be able to put our genius in a package that can be distributed throughout the universe. All of us want this at some level or another. So if you're interested, come join me, and we'll be talking about that on Thursday. Meanwhile, yeah, I didn't mean to get through all of them in a single hour, but I did. All of the new stuff going on in ManyChat. As a total side note, I've been looking at a lot of different chatbot providers. Just like ManyChat is a chatbot provider, so are a lot of other programs, and with most all of them that I've seen, it's the emphasis on easy and the emphasis on set and forget. And it's always disappointing when I see that, because in my experience, this is not a set and forget. This is an amazingly powerful and wonderful tool, and it gives me the exact kind of contact that I am seeking with people, the contact that I need in order to be able to make a difference or teach a thing or give away a thing of value. This is exactly what I was looking for, but by no means is it something that you can just go, pink, that's done. Now I can move on to something else, unless you've got me managing your chatbot in the background, which that's always available. But it is not, it's not meant to be an experience that you can just walk away from. If it was just automation, I wouldn't be passionate about it. Because I think we're a little over automated these days, honestly. So I'm grateful to be a ManyChatter. They're not perfect by any means, but I think that they've got the right vision on how all this could be working out. Chatbots are going to get very interesting in the next few years. There's a lot going on in the media right now about chatbots and information privacy and GDPR. And for those of you who didn't know, Google Plus is going to be shutting down. Apparently, large data breach of a place that doesn't have very much action anyway. And so they're going to be shutting all that down to consumers anyway pretty soon. There's a lot going on. And this can, to me, this is going to evolve into the very best way to get a hold of people. It is my best way now, but I think that it's going to become that for more people. Franco, hey, I did this in honor of you, Franco. I've got Bob Ross over. Which shoulder is it? Let me see. Oh, wrong one. This one. Lava lamp also, courtesy. Franco suggested a lava lamp, everybody. And the coolest thing about this whole thing, Franco, is that I have a power strip right here that all of my lights and my lava lamp are plugged into, so that when I leave the room at the end of the day, I can just go boop and everything turns off. It's amazing. Anyway, so if you want suggestions on your set and stuff, see Franco. He's amazing. Yes, Teresa, Google Plus is shutting down. They were just reporting that yesterday. I was reading a few articles about it. Yeah, the age of let's shout something out to everybody and see who trickles back to us. This is hopefully ending. Because none of us like being shouted at. And yeah, the one competitor that I was reviewing this morning, it's another chatbot platform called Inboxer. It claims to work on Twitter too. I am not on Twitter. I mean, I'm on Twitter, but I'm not active in Twitter. I don't really like Twitter. It's just not a place where I want to hang out, but a lot of people do hang out there. I'm always looking for chatbot programs that also work on other social media networks. So when I get that working on Twitter, I'll do a little episode about that and review it for you guys so you can see what's going on there. So that's all for now. This has been ManyChat features, which are brand new. Coolest one, randomizer. Use it to gamify your bot. Use it to create a little fun, a little mystery, a little surprise for people. And it will make your bot stand out among the others. The integrations are super cool too. A lot of really nice things in there. And yeah, I'll be back on Thursday with my friend Brady Patterson, and we're going to talk about something that is a little bit different, but totally related to all of us, and that's course creation. So that's it for now. Hope you guys are all doing real well out there on this rainy Tuesday, and that's it for now, my friends. I will see you in a bot.